Both Confederate General Braxton Bragg and Lieutenant General James Longstreet were defeated in their respective battles. It seems that Longstreet was correct in his assessment of splitting the troops into two different fronts. Now Longstreet is continuing the siege against Knoxville, and he can only hope to draw in Grant's troops to keep them away from Bragg as he makes his escape. Will this plan be successful? Or will General Grant be able to squash both armies for good? Come along with us as Grant sends Sherman on his way to end the siege of Knoxville. All aboard the Kentucky-Tennessee Living Time Machine. Please fasten your seatbelt and keep your arms and legs inside of the vehicle at all times. But to get going, we need your help. We still need to fire up that time machine to transport us. Please help us by clicking on the like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons down below. Not only does this fire up the time machine for our flight back in time, but it convinces the YouTube algorithm that we need a bigger vehicle to reach more people who love history as much as you do. Now, back to our story. A defeated Longstreet. The battle for Fort Sanders had been a bloody one. In 40 minutes, over 800 soldiers were now gone. Longstreet did shoulder the burden of the failure. However, he also pointed a finger at McLaws for lack of planning and not bringing along scaling ladders. This was unnecessary, as the Confederate leaders, along with Longstreet, felt that the ditch and wall guarding Fort Sanders could be scaled by digging footholds instead. This was an epic mistake. Now Longstreet had a decision to make. General Braxton Bragg had just been defeated at Missionary Ridge on November 25th. Bragg ordered Lieutenant General Longstreet and the Army of the Tennessee to Virginia to join him. Longstreet felt that this would not work, as Grant and Burnside could join forces and come against them at another point. So Longstreet kept his men at Knoxville to hold back Burnside for as long as possible. For 5 more days, the siege of Knoxville, Tennessee would continue. Grant sends Sherman. Because of the Confederate Lieutenant General Longstreet did not give up after the defeat at Fort Sanders, General Ulysses S. Grant felt that he needed to take action. Grant had just defeated General Braxton Bragg at Missionary Ridge on November 25, 1863. On November 27th, Grant called off the pursuit of Bragg because his army was repulsed at the Battle of Ringgold Gap. Now it was time to break the siege at Knoxville. Grant ordered Major General William Tecumseh Sherman to take 25,000 men to defeat Longstreet. These men were part of Major General Gordon Granger's 4th Corps, which included the divisions of Major General Philip Sheridan and Brigadier General Thomas J. Wood. Major General Olive Otis Howard's 9th Corps, which consisted of the divisions of Major General Carl Schwartz and Brigadier General Adolph von Steinwehr. Major General Francis Preston Blair Jr.'s 15th Corps, which comprised of divisions of Brigadier Generals Morgan Lewis Smith and Hugh Boyle Ewing. Brigadier General Jefferson C. Davis's division of the 14th Corps and Colonel Eli Long's Cavalry Brigade. Grant leaks mission. Grant had 2 copies of Sherman's approach to Knoxville sent out. One copy would be sent to Burnside to let him know that relief and reinforcements were on the way. The other copy was to fall into Longstreet's hands to let him know that he was going to face a huge brigade. Now, why would you want what you are planning to do to fall into your enemy's hands? Simply put, if you had 3,000 men and there was 25,000 men coming at you, then you might want to think twice about your actions. This was no bluff on the part of Grant, and Longstreet knew it. Add to this, it was very well known that Sherman had a mental breakdown while he was in Kentucky in October of 1861. After he recovered, he became ruthless on the battlefield. You did not want to face off against Sherman unprepared. So Longstreet had some decisions to make. Was he going to stay in Knoxville and fight a battle against 2 sides, or would he run for safety and find a place to winter his troops? Sherman Splits His Men. On November 30th, Sherman and his troops reached Charleston, Tennessee, on the Hiwassee River. Because of the urgency of the situation, Sherman decided to leave his artillery and wagon trains behind at this point and keep marching towards Knoxville. He also split his troops into two columns to cross the Hiwassee River. The first column would cross at Charleston and contain the troops of Sherman, Blair, Howard, and Davis. Granger and his troops would cross at King Cannon's Ford to the west of Charleston. Sherman would meet obstacles along the way. The men had to forage for food and march the entire way because the wheeled vehicles for the railroad and the rail bridge at Charleston had been destroyed. While this would slow down the Union forces, this did not stop them on their march to Knoxville, Tennessee. In next week's video, we will cover the battle for Walker's Ford and the decision that Longstreet will make concerning facing off against Sherman and his troops. Thank you. We at Kentucky Tennessee Living would like to thank you for watching our video series on the Appalachian Civil War battles. Don't forget to hit that like button, as the more likes we receive, the more likely YouTube is to suggest our videos to other viewers. Also, to receive notice when we upload a new video, be sure to subscribe and click the bell notification button. Be sure to double check that you are subscribed, as some of our viewers are finding that they are no longer subscribed to our channel. We thank you for continuing to support Kentucky Tennessee Living as we are discovering the mysteries in Appalachian history.